Hi everyone, I'm Tally, this is Farrell, and we're bored of it. And today we're going to be reviewing Stamp Swap. This is a game for 1 to 5 players, and it's about collecting, swapping, and showing your stamp collection.
Exactly. And to do that, you're going to be drafting some stamps, and then you're going to do a I cut, you choose thing, and then players will get to kind of steal your stamps wholesale, although they say swap, it's not really. Feels like you're like being held hostage when that happens.
Know where your mindset is in these sorts of things then.
Yeah.
Aggressive hobbying.
Aggressive hobbying. So before we get into how to play and what we think, please note that this was a review copy provided by the publisher, Stonemaier Games. Stamp Swap will last for 3 rounds, and at the end of those 3 rounds, the player with the most points will be the winner. Now, each of the 3 rounds is divided into 3 sections, the first of which is Collect. Event cards will tell you what items are up for draft in the middle, and these can be stamps of all different sizes, or they can be specialist cards, which give you little powers, or scoring cards. Now, the stamps come in different varieties, which are theme and color. There's 5 of each. And what you're going to be doing is drafting them with the aim of meeting scoring cards in the middle and an endgame scoring card over here. So once you've drafted the set amount for the round, and the event card could mix up how things play out, maybe letting you reserve more, maybe letting you reserve less, maybe letting you draft more, draft less. What you'll do is you'll then have your pile of goods, and you'll have to do I split, you choose type thing, where you'll reserve generally 1 item that you keep to yourself. The rest you split into 2 piles. Then players will take turns taking another person's pile, choosing between the 2 basically. So it's pretty likely you're only going to be able to keep half or maybe a bit less or more of what you've drafted. That is the swap section. And then finally, you'll have the show section of the round, where you'll take what you have gained and you'll put it into your book here and arrange it how you want, again, trying to meet these scoring cards. Then you'll score points if you are the first player. You'll score points for your exhibitor cards, and you'll score points for one of these objectives. At the end of each round, you'll pick one objective and you'll score it. And then after that, you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's gone. You focus on something new. And this will culminate in the final show at the end of the 3 rounds, where you'll have a bit more scoring. There are these tiny little stamps called forever stamps. And that's kind of a majority scores type thing, first, second, and third. And you'll also get the points value from the stamps you've placed into your stamp book. And then there's some other little points here and there, and also the final scoring card. Then you're going to add up and see who wins.
One thing to know is that this is a light filler style game. It's probably not going to light anyone's world on fire, but it is a very, very enjoyable experience all the same. It's very, very easy to teach. You can be up and playing within a few minutes. And because there are 3 rounds of essentially doing the same thing, after the first one, you'll completely get the round structure and you'll be able to make the decisions that you need to by round 2. And because of the kind of short play time, it's very easy to get that second session in, even if you take a while to get into the game. So very low barrier to entry, and you can be having fun within minutes.
In short, it does what it sets out to do, and it does it well. So when I'm viewing it through that lens, I actually don't have any real criticisms to level at it. The main one that I would have actually isn't to do with gameplay, it's to do with the storage, because this, as we've said, is a filler game, and it feels like a filler game, but it's been given a normal size board game box. And I definitely think there's a version of this that exists in an alternate universe where it would fit in a small box. And I just think that would be a lot better for what it is. Something like a De Vere box. But that said, there is a great production here. You've got the nice storage, and I really actually like the art on the stamps. I think the color schemes are nice. I think the kind of style is nice. And it's something that I actually enjoy this aspect of it more than I thought I would.
At first glance, some of the mechanisms in this game maybe seem a little basic, but actually they have some really nice twists. For example, when you draft, some of the stamps are face up and some face down. So you could take the face up ones, they're guaranteed, or you can gamble hoping that one of them is a blue animal stamp that you really, really need to complete something, and risk taking a face down one. So that's a really neat little twist. Also, the fact that you have to split your loot and other players will take some of your stuff adds a further element of consideration. We played a game with a friend the other day and he was playing almost offensively and taking stuff with a negative stamp value, hoping that we would take it and get it in our loot and then we would have to use it on our board. So also a little cheeky offensive twist there as well. It's also really cool that you can draft the specialist cards, and some of them even kind of activate and let you use them when you've taken it and drafted it before you cut and split and have someone else take it. So that's also something else for consideration that you can use in your strategy.
One thing that surprised me was how much I like the way scoring is done in this game. Because although you have the end game scoring objective that you can work towards throughout the entire game, you have these other objectives, one of which you'll score each round, one of which you'll never score. And what I like about that is a lot of these games or types of games will often have 7 different scoring objectives that you're always kind of pushed and pulled against and towards. And it gives you a bit of mental overload. Whereas here, you score 1 per round. So although you do tend to keep in mind more than just the one you're going to score that round because you want to work towards it throughout the entire game, the fact that you then never have to think about the one you just scored again means that actually things get easier as you progress throughout the game and you have more freedom on where to put your stamps and what stamps to collect. And I just find something really satisfying about that and very clean, that I'm done with this now, I never have to think about it again. I really enjoyed that. On the other hand, I wasn't such a big fan of the eternity stamps or infinity stamps, I can't remember which they are. They are the majority scoring element, but because they only occupy 1 space, they don't have a theme or a color, they kind of don't go towards anything else except for this majority scoring with them. So they're always like never that enticing to pick, and you're only picking them because you don't want someone else to get more points, but then you can't really do anything with them and someone could take them anyway if you split and choose and they take them. It's just probably the one element of the game that fell a little flat for me, and I think they could have just been taken out, to be honest.
When it comes to player count, we think this is a really nice game to play with 2 people. We really enjoyed it. But it is, of course, a little bit more zero-sum. With more people, we think it shines a little bit more. It's a little bit more interesting. Firstly, when it comes to the stamp drafting, more stamps will come out every round with more players. So you just get to see more stamps and have more to choose from and more options. And also when it comes to the cutting and swapping, that's also more interesting when you have more people. Because, of course, with 2 people, you know that you're going to take one of your opponent's piles and they're going to take one of yours. Whereas with more, you have more to choose from. You could choose from different people. And you might actually end up having all of the items that you drafted come back to you for use if the first 2 players swap with each other. So it also kind of makes you consider a little bit more how you might cut and draft.
Final thoughts. Stamp Swap is a game that I think we were both surprised by how much we enjoyed. Not that we thought it would be bad, but we have heard mixed reviews, and also it's the kind of game that you never know which way it's going to go.
Yeah.
But we definitely enjoyed our time. I think you more than me, significantly.
I am low-key quite enamoured with this game, actually. I think even after the first round, I remember saying, I love this game.
Yeah.
I think we've touched upon it in the review, but I just really like how at first it seems kind of basic in the mechanisms, but these little twists really elevate it for me. And you do start to realise after some time there's some different strategies, even though it is very, very simple. I think you could just play, right, without thinking too deep about it and you would be totally fine. But there's also, you could go a little bit deeper and do some different like strategies with how you cut and swap. So for me, that made it really cool and really interesting. And I think the production's also really nice.
Yeah, I think I like it a bit less than you, but like I said, I think was impressed by it. It's just, for me, it's one of those games that I really enjoy playing it, and probably because you want to play it, we'll play it more than I would if you weren't here. But it sits in the middle for me of one of those games where there's probably better filler games out there for me. I think there's games that do other things better, but it like I said, it sets out what it does to do, and it does it well, and I don't really have any gameplay criticisms. So take from that what you will. I mean, if you're interested in this, if it's something you want, then obviously we recommend it.
Yeah.
But I personally wouldn't recommend it over other things, over other filler games that I like. You probably would.
Yeah, I think it's a lovely little game.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, I think the production artwork is absolutely great as well.
And I can win it.
That's like, yeah, I mean, that's the only reason it's on your
That's like 90% of how I feel about the game. Yeah. Why?
Okay. So that was our review of Stamp Swap. We hope it was helpful. If you have any questions about it, please let us know. And we are glad that you watched, and we appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. See ya.
Bye.